Hello everyone, in today's lesson we will be learning about adverb. What is an adverb? Adverbs often describe words, which means that they describe the way an action is happening. So for example, number 1, Philip sings loudly in the shower. Number 2, my cat waits impatiently for his food. And number 3, I will seriously consider your suggestion. So how are they performing that particular action? So that is known as an adverb. Type of adverbs. We are having 5 types of adverbs, which are adverbs of frequency, adverbs of manner, adverbs of time, adverbs of place, as well as adverbs of degree. So for adverbs of frequency, it is talking about how often the action is happening. How often? Alright. So for example, they see each other regularly. Alright. So regularly is how often the frequency of the action is happening. Okay, number 2, adverbs of manner. So adverbs of manner describes how an action is happening. How? So for example, she sings so beautifully. So how is she singing? She is singing beautifully. And number 3, adverbs of time. When we say adverbs of time, it is regarding when. Okay, answering the question of when is the action is happening. Alright, for example, Tom broke his leg yesterday. Alright, yesterday was the time, which is when. And number 4, adverbs of place. Okay, adverbs of place explains where. Okay, where is the action happening? Okay, for example, there is a great supermarket near my house. Near my house, okay? And number 5, adverbs of degree is explaining to what extent is that particular action happening. Okay, let's see it. Example, it's rather difficult to think when there is a lot of noise around you. Okay, so there are 5 kinds of adverbs, which are adverbs of frequency, adverbs of manner, adverbs of time, adverbs of place, as well as adverbs of degree. Okay, let's look into adverbs of frequency. So for example, we're going to have the word always. He's always very punctual. I will see if he's here yet. Okay, so adverbs of frequency, always means all the time. Okay, number 2, we usually go to the restaurant on Sundays. Okay, usually is almost to all the time, might be lesser than all the time, usually. Okay, and number 3, they often went caroling at Christmas. Okay, it is more to regularly, alright, usually. Okay, the word often. And number 4, sometimes I just need someone to talk to. Alright, it means that sometimes, alright, if I just need someone to talk to, and the other time I just don't need anyone to talk to. I just need my time alone. And then number 5, okay, if you don't aim high, you will never hit high. So these words, are describing the action. Okay, but how are they describing? They're describing how often is the action is happening. Okay, so other examples, of words that under the category of adverbs of frequency are the word occasionally, the word frequently, seldom, or constantly, as well as rarely. Okay, moving on to the adverbs of manner. So adverbs of manner is how an action is happening. So for example, number 1, April cheerfully greeted Mark each morning. So how is April greeting Mark? So she is greeting Mark cheerfully. Number 2, I love to randomly share interesting trivia with my friends and family. Randomly share interesting trivia. And number 3, she dances weirdly. How is she dancing? She is dancing weirdly, but her quirky personality is what I love the most. Okay, number 4, I wholeheartedly believe education is the key to a better future. And number 5, he writes sloppily. Okay, how he writes? He writes sloppily, but insists his ideas are more important than having perfect penmanship. So these words, are explaining how is the action conducted, how is the action performed. Other words under the category of adverbs of manner, such as the word quickly, unexpectedly, harmlessly, loudly, silently, as well as successfully. So how are the verbs are being carried out, performed? Okay, let's move on to adverbs of time. When you say time, okay, it's describing of when. Okay, when is that particular action is happening. So for example, she arrived early for the meeting. She arrived early for the meeting. Okay, and then we have when I bake, I make cookies first. Okay, so it is describing the timeline. When is she baking? Alright, and number 3, when I clean, I do laundry last. Okay, number 4, I will stop by later to see how you are doing later. Okay, and lastly, we have the movie is starting now. Okay, so this describes the action. Okay, other adverbs that describe adverbs of time, such as the word tonight, then, tomorrow, yesterday, today, as well as hourly. So these are words that are categorized under adverbs of time. Okay, then we have adverbs of place. Okay, so when we're talking about adverbs of place, it is about where. Yes, where is that particular action is happening or being conducted or being performed. So for example, the public library often holds meeting downstairs. Downstairs. Okay, number 2, Jack looked everywhere for his missing keys. So where he looked everywhere. Does he only look at a particular area? No, he searched for the keys in all the areas, everywhere. And number 3, she will plant her garden here, right here, okay, adverbs of place. Number 4, when it's hot and humid, Anna likes to read inside, okay, inside. Okay, and lastly we have, I want to go fishing somewhere warm and humid. So these words represents adverbs of place. So other adverbs of place such as backwards, indoors, there, upstairs, outside, as well as nearby. Okay, next we're gonna have adverbs of degree. Okay, when we say adverbs of degree, to what extent is that particular action being performed? Okay, so for example, number 1, I almost stopped at McDonald's for lunch, but I was running late. So almost. Did she stop to McDonald's? No, she almost stopped, but she didn't because she was running late. Okay, number 2, Daniel is finally tall enough, okay, enough to ride the roller coaster. And number 3, I only take the bus to work on Mondays. So it means that she only take the bus on one day, which is on Monday. And number 4, we have, I was quite pleased, okay, quite pleased to see my son's progress in school this year. Okay, quite. Okay, and lastly we have, I am rather tired after spending the day at the beach. Rather tired. Okay, and other adverbs of degree such as so, to, perfectly, simply, terribly, as well as very. So adverbs of degree, keep in mind, it's actually describing to what extent, okay, is the action or the work is being performed, being conducted. Alright, okay, lastly we are going to discuss on degree of comparison. So when you say degree of comparisons in adverb, we are comparing the level of adverb. Okay, so we're going to have 3 kinds, which are absolute, comparative, as well as superlative. As for absolute, the examples are warmly and hastily. Okay, he smiled warmly and a hastily written note. Okay, it is absolute. Okay, hastily and warmly. And for comparative, we are comparing 2 items. Okay, with 2 people or 2 adverbs. So we can use the word more. When you're comparing, we use more. It's either more warmly or more hastily. For example, okay, he smiled more warmly than the others. Alright, the second example, the more hastily written note contained the clue. Okay, so comparative, use the word more. And thirdly, on superlative. Superlative is when you are describing the highest degree. You're describing the highest degree. Alright, so highest degree, you need to add the word most. Most warmly, most hastily. Alright, for example, he smiled most warmly of them all. And the second example, the most hastily written note on the desk was overlooked.